Alright, hey, welcome to another fantastic episode of Movie Monks. February 10th. I'm Brother Nathan, and Brother Paul joins me today.
Hello.
We're bringing it back, because monks. Anyway, let's just get right. What movies have you seen this week?
I
Let's start with
started
you.
off with We Own the Night.
Okay,
I don't know. That's the one I didn't know if maybe you saw it or not. I don't know.
I have not, because I heard it was really not good,
Um,
despite...
Yeah.
who is it, Joaquin and Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah, actually, you know what? I didn't mind Joaquin in it, which is a pretty big thing because I don't like Joaquin.
Whoa, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
Yep.
I'm sorry, but
Alright.
no. Anyways,
He's a good...
I don't know if you, ever check the online social media networks or whatever, but anyways, I made a comment, and it kind of pissed off some people I know because I pretty much said that Mark Wahlberg is just terrible, and you don't realize how bad he is until he's in a movie where he should be acting, and he destroys a character. That was based on this movie. He is just so bad in it, it is ridiculous.
Like The Happening kind of bad, or what?
I think he's worse. He's not in it as much as you'd think, considering he's one of the main...
two dudes. Are they brothers?
They're
What's
brothers.
the thing?
The basic idea is they're two brothers. One of them is a nightclub manager or owner or something. I believe he's the manager because the owner is some other guy that he talks to. Anyways, he's a nightclub manager, and he's kind of like a druggie and sleazy or whatever, and his brother and father are part of the New York, the NYPD.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of
and his dad's Robert Duvall, right?
Yeah, Robert Duvall is awesome. Just saying.
In this movie, or just generally speaking?
General. I mean, he's good in this movie, too. He does the, hey, I'm an old cop thing really well.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, basically, Joaquin Phoenix plays a guy named Bob.
Doesn't matter.
Something like that.
He's a dude.
He's a dude. He's a manager of a nightclub. He does drugs, and he hangs out with the wrong crowd. And his brother, Mark Wahlberg, is a cop, and he keeps his nose clean. And actually, the cop is trying to, bust down on these dudes, these Russian, drug runners sort of thing for the mafia.
We don't need to get into specifics. Let's just generalizations.
Okay, basically...
what goes down, I guess, but don't spoil the whole movie.
No, Joaquin Phoenix hears a plan at his club or whatever that the people that Mark Wahlberg is trying to take down they want to kill them, and
okay,
it's one of those movies where it's hey, I'm gonna change everything I've known about my life to I don't know.
So it's mainly Joaquin then, or
it's a lot of Joaquin. Mark Wahlberg, something happens to him, and yeah, I mean he's in it still.
Is he doing his Departed thing,
No, he's the other cop. Not the, hey, I'm gonna bust your head in, but hey, I'm gonna bust your head in, but in a legal way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go talk to a judge and get a permit so I can come back and bust your head in.
He's the Boy Scout.
Alright.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's okay. I frankly feel
Who directed that? It was the same guy
Gray.
who did... Wasn't his last movie 7 years before that? Also with Joaquin? Just a minute.
That he directed?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's that guy. He doesn't work often.
Yeah, he used them both. I don't remember the name of it, though.
Yeah, I saw it on TV once when I was a younger man.
Yeah, I don't know what else he's done.
Maybe I was a boy.
Because, yeah, no, I'm impressed. You're probably looking it up, I'm guessing.
I have to know at this point, so...
Yeah, that's fine, so I'm just kind of covering dead air.
Bobby
I don't know,
Green.
Eva Mendes is in it. She's Eva Mendes.
So kind of mediocre then?
Kind of mediocre.
The Yards is the movie I was thinking of.
Yeah, I don't...
From 99.
I don't know anything about it except for the fact that the same dude used the same guys.
Well, there's an 8-year gap in it.
Right,
but in his career.
Still,
and yeah, I guess Mark Wahlberg was in that too. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. I guess. I mean, if you it was on
by
Netflix,
Matt Reeves,
and I was bored, so it wasn't too bad because I didn't pay anything for it except for the monthly fee.
So crime dramas type business and kind of
Yeah, I don't know. It's really slow at the beginning, like really slow. It picks up quite a bit, and then it changes gears completely and kind of lost me.
Oh,
Yeah,
fun.
I don't know. It's a one-timer. But the next movie I watched after that was a good one, and it's one that you have recommended to me, and it is probably like one of my favorite movies of all time right now. On, I believe it was Wednesday night of last week, I did a double feature involving like writers, and I started with Adaptation.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah, it really was.
Nick Cage twice.
What's
so
that?
It's 2 Nick Cages, so it's twice as good as you. I don't know. It was awesome.
It's awesome because,
It's a
like,
great
even
movie.
though it's Nick Cage and Nick Cage is awesome, you forget he's Nick Cage because he does a really damn good job in this movie. Like,
As playing Charlie Kaufman and his fictional brother,
that's right.
who was nominated for an Oscar, which is great. Anyway,
Exactly.
what's
yeah,
his brother's name?
Donald.
Yeah.
Charlie and Donnie.
Anyway, Spike Jonze.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think of Meryl Streep?
I like Meryl Streep.
Okay.
Especially more recently, like Doubt and stuff. She was really good.
Okay.
Like Sophie's Choice, like dude, whatever. That movie's boring. That's a boring movie. Don't watch it.
Yeah.
Just keep saying like Sophie's Choice is like a thing because there's a tough choice in that movie, but as a movie, it's not. It doesn't hold up very well.
See,
she
like
speaks
she's
Polish or something.
really
so.
good. She's a really good actress. Like she's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
She plays the same role in everything.
That's not true at all.
Yes,
that
it
is. The craziest
Every time
nonsense
I
ever.
see her as Meryl Streep. Like I don't
like
know.
Meryl Streep as this widow
I don't even
or
see
something.
her as. I just see Meryl Streep, and it kind of ruins it for me. It's probably just a personal thing, but whatever.
Huh.
I'm not.
So she wasn't Julia Child. She was just
really
Meryl
Streep.
Streep.
I can't deny that. It's just one of these things. It's like, hey, that's definitely Meryl Streep doing a Meryl Streep role.
I don't know if there's such a thing as like a Meryl Streep role, but I kind of see what you mean in that like she never really disappears into her character. You just kind of always recognize her as Meryl Streep, despite it. But it's like Meryl Streep did a really good job pretending to be a cook, so that was cool. But like she never is Julia Child. I don't know.
I
maybe.
never saw that. I always kind of wanted to.
It's a great movie to watch with your mom. I found out.
Okay.
So, like, my mom loves it. I was like, this is alright. This is pretty good.
That seems like something.
Stanley Tucci's
like,
in it, though.
Hey, honey, let's go to the movies.
Yeah, it's good for that, too. I saw it with Ryan, a friend of mine, and we were, like, the only dudes in the theater. And it was weird.
Date
It's not ideal. Yeah, it was kind of strange. A lot of, like, 50-plus people, too, because they remember Julia Child, I'm sure.
Yeah, but, I honestly don't.
We haven't actually said the name of the film we're talking about. Julie and Julia. It's on DVD now. Amy Adams. Anyway.
Yeah.
What were we talking?
Going back.
Adaptation. We haven't really. Chris Cooper, Spike Jonze. Like, what? Is this the first time you've seen it?
First time I saw it. I don't even own it. I saw it on Netflix, and it seems like a crime against humanity. I don't own it because that is one of the best movies I think I've watched in a long time.
Yeah, no. Charlie Kaufman. It's might be my favorite of his.
Like, I started falling asleep because it was after work that I watched it at the beginning. And, like, I was exhausted, and there's a lot of talking at the beginning. But, like, even the dialogue started waking me up, and it's amazing. Like, it's just really well written. I gotta give props. Mad props, in fact.
Have you seen a lot of Charlie Kaufman stuff?
I haven't. I've always wanted to see Being John Malkovich. I just haven't really cared enough to go out to a store and rent it or like any of that stuff. I don't know if it's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix actually.
Okay, so yeah.
What about Eternal Sunshine?
That for sure, then.
You should have seen Eternal Sunshine if you haven't.
Yes, I have seen it. I actually own that movie. I really like it. I think Adaptation is a better movie between the two, obviously, though.
I've seen it more often for sure. I've finally picked up Eternal Sunshine over Christmas, but I haven't watched it since I first saw it.
$10 for a Blu-ray, so.
Exactly. Same exact deal.
Yeah, so HMV?
No, actually I think it was Walmart. But anyway. It might have been $5 actually, so I won. Perhaps. If anything, it's probably still sealed and I can check the price
probably still
some
sealed.
other time.
I've actually
I do that a lot.
I won.
No, I have a pristine copy. I buy a lot of movies and then just kind of set them aside.
I honestly do too. I have a stack of about 25 4 was the last count that I still have to go through.
Oh man, I'm just looking around. I gotta watch Rollerball sometime soon.
Yeah, me
Not
too.
not the new one,
No.
the
Yeah.
70s one. Are any other thoughts on adaptation? Really, like we're gonna come back to it actually because I have to compare it to another movie. But
Yeah. I guess just a closing thought that, like, this is something everyone has to see, especially anyone who has maybe gone through like the writing process. A lot of stuff like struck true to me. I don't write creatively anymore, really. I just kind of write opinions if I write at all because I've been really lackluster with that. But I used to write creatively, and I don't know. You feel the dude's pain, like you really do.
yeah, as an adaptation, it's actually really bizarre because it's actually supposed to be adapting that book.
Right.
It's literally like some critics pointed it out and had issue with it, but it's literally almost that thing. Like I don't know if this happened to you, but in English class, we'd be assigned to write a poem or something, and one kid would always write a poem about how they hated poems. You know, that
Yes.
kind of notion. Like it's like he almost just did that. Like it's like this book sucks to adapt. You can't. It's so messed up. I'm gonna make that the movie, and then he does, but he kind of gets away with it, and it's kind of great in its own way. But as a adaptation of like what is it, The Orchid Thief or whatever?
The Orchid Thief, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm sure it fails spectacularly, but it kind of doesn't matter because yeah, like it really addresses the problems with the creative process and everything.
I will say one
And
more thing about it, actually. That movie
okay.
takes you for a loop you never expected around the end.
I enjoyed its final act too, and actually
Yeah.
that's kind of the stuff that I'll harken back to in a couple minutes.
Actually, each act is really individual if you think about it. Like, the whole beginning part with him, like, freaking out or whatever, and then the whole part with him in New York.
It has a good weird arc to it. That it's him stressing out and then kind of writing stuff as this other story happens, and then it kind of blends together into this weird thing. It's yeah. Do you mind if I mention a film briefly?
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw Dinosaur, which
Yeah, okay.
like I kind of always wanted to see it proper because when I was like, when did that come out? Like 10 years ago.
That came out,
So I would have been like 13.
that would have been the year 2000 because there was something about, like, Y2K and, like, dinosaurs. I don't know. It just ran true in my head at the time.
Okay. Yeah. So I would have been about 13 years old, and I went with a friend and his mother and little brother to like a theater to go see it. Fire alarm goes off like 5 minutes into the movie. Nobody comes to tell us anything, and like his mom just flipped out that they would leave us there to burn in theory, so we just like left. So I
you
never
didn't
got a chance
finish it.
to see it. No, I saw like 5 minutes of it. There was like an egg, and like this pterodactyl was flying around. And I was just like, oh, this seems all right, and then we just had to bounce. So it's just kind of been in the back of my mind for like a decade. Finally saw it. It's not very good as a movie, but it's kind of an interesting like tech demo.
I was gonna say, is it really a movie? Because it seems like something someone
No, they
would put
try to
together
make it a movie.
as,
They
like,
definitely
hey,
try to
look what we can do with graphics.
kind of, but they try to shoehorn like I keep saying shoehorn. I don't even use a shoehorn. It's the dumbest.
Have you ever used a shoehorn? They're kind of helpful if you have, like, problems getting your feet in your shoes.
Like if your shoes are too small. My grandpa uses a shoehorn. I'm gonna try to stop using that phrase. Sorry. Anyway, they try to cram a story in there, and it's kind of weak. Like it's just like it's kind of Land Before Time,
Okay,
but not
don't
as
you
compelling.
dare say anything bad about
No, Land Before Time's way better. That's what I mean in terms of narrative stuff. Like it develops its characters way better. Like it's like they got this crazy monkey family and this dinosaur who was raised by monkeys, and he's got to go like he finally meets up with some other dinosaurs, and they're kind of on their pilgrimage away from the devastation from this asteroid or whatever. It's I don't know. It as a story, it's not that great, and it does some stuff to kind of be comedic that just doesn't work at all because it's a Disney movie and they have to put some stuff in there for the kids. Kind of like Land Before Time, though. Like for some reason, antagonistic dinosaurs can't talk. You know,
Yeah, right.
like they do nothing to make like I don't even
just,
remember
like,
what
roar
it is.
because they're, like, so
Yeah, they're
scared.
brainless
They're primitive.
carnivores. Yeah, they can't understand. Whereas these higher-minded dinosaurs, can actually speak and stuff. It's weird. But yeah, there's like a giant T-Rex or something, but it's like red. But I guess, to be fair, it's not like Jurassic Park actually rendered T-Rexes accurately in terms of paleontology necessarily. It's paleontology, right? I
Yep.
didn't just.
Yeah, no. Yep.
Okay, good. But that's kind of the movie dinosaur now, so you can't really touch that, in my
I guess
opinion.
the most important thing is, does anyone in the movie refer to being a three-horn or not needing help from a long
Or
neck?
long necks or anything. No, there's none of that.
Okay,
It's just
so
kind of
it's
this.
automatically like the worst dinosaur movie ever.
No. It like the stuff it's doing with technology is kind of neat. Like what they did was basically shoot actual jungles and stuff, and then superimpose CG dinosaurs over it. And considering it came out like 10 years ago, the effects are actually all right.
And
Like
did you
they
see it
hold
in
up.
theater?
I was going to, and then I got pulled out. I like.
Like it wasn't part of that whole like thing.
Oh no, it wasn't part of the digital film festival. It was just at a friend's house. Ryan again.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about him a lot, I guess. Anyway, yeah, it was just on DVD, but it still looks all right. Like as technology and like filmmaking kind of curiosity, it's kind of neat. But yeah, as a story, it doesn't really work anymore, or it just doesn't really.
Is that
It's not
something
really
you
funny.
would recommend someone to see?
No, not unless you're like extremely intrigued by special effects and like what goes into them. And if so, probably just watch the special features or something.
Right.
But like I was a weird kid. I would read books about like stop motion and stuff. So for me it was fine. But unless you're that person, don't bother. It's not very long though, so I guess I'll give it that. It's like it's like 80 minutes or something. It's yeah, not very long. But anyway, what's up next for you? Is it what I hope it is? Because then we can just smoothly.
Probably not. It's Spartan Fink.
Oh, okay. I could talk about Barton Fink, so that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I really like that movie, so I watched it again because I watched adaptation, and I saw it was on Netflix, so I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be a writer's night, and it's pretty much what I remember. I don't know. It's really good, but what do you think about it?
It's not one of my favorites of theirs. The Coen Brothers, to be clear. I like it. I like stuff about it, to be sure. Like John Goodman's really good.
John
I have nothing really against John Turturro.
John Goodman really does the like, I can trust you. You seem like a good guy.
Yeah.
Like really
So them
well.
playing with that kind of notion works extremely well. Yeah, the final scenes with him are amazing. Some of the dark turn stuff in that movie, like specifically when he swats that mosquito, and
Yes.
there's just
Yeah.
blood everywhere. Like something about that just really put me off, and I don't know why. Like it was just like, what is going on? What?
I think
that
it's
can't
because
happen.
the feel they had for that whole movie up to that point was kind of like
More conventional.
more conventional and I think more easygoing, and that was kind of just like a slap in the face.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it wasn't necessarily a bad one, and I mean
they do
it
that. Like
reeks
that's
of
what they
Coen
do.
Brothers, though.
I know. Like it.
100%. It's just the whole nihilistic, like, hey, remember how you were having somewhat of a good time? We'll take this, and then they backhand you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Lerner's actually really cool in it as like the producer guy, the executive.
Yeah, he talks really fast.
Yeah, I love those two cops interviewing him. They do a good
I
job
don't
too.
remember
Like, there's one specific line where it's like he says like, "Oh, I was working on a boxing film," and it's just like, yeah, that's really helpful information. Notice how I'm not writing it down. Like they just kind of bounce around between the two cops.
Yeah.
It's
the other
yeah,
cops just,
it's
like,
very
notice how
kind
they
of
didn't
film
write it
noir
down.
type stuff. Yeah. And Steve Buscemi is the bellboy. He's pretty funny.
Yeah.
There's certainly good stuff in it. Like I own it, but it's just not a movie I have like any kind of even like a dark, weird, twisted time with it. I just kind
It's
of
not a movie
get bothered
you
by
can
it.
throw in at any time either.
Like I could watch No Country or Fargo almost any time.
That's something I was going to talk to you about. I read somewhere you think No Country is like a perfect movie.
It's almost a perfect movie.
Okay,
There's
I need
one.
you to explain to me why you think it's a perfect movie. Not necessarily because I disagree, but I don't see how I could classify it as perfect.
What do you
or is
mean?
it just
Like,
an opinion?
well, every discussion about a movie is an opinion thing. There's no way to quantify perfection.
How do you quantify the perfection?
Well, what do you mean? It's like Roger Deakins' cinematography is absolutely amazing. Their lack of score is absolutely amazing. All the acting is absolutely amazing. The script is really great. There's one scene, like it was the most minor thing. There's one scene with Ed Tom, like the sheriff played by Tommy Lee Jones, where he's going back to the motel where okay, full on 1,000,000% No Country for Old Men spoilers. If you haven't seen it by now though, you should really re-examine, your film enthusiasm, because you missed out. You missed one of the best things that's happened in the last 4 years. So you should go. You should go to stop, and go to your nearest store and just purchase a copy on Blu-ray or whatever you have, and then watch it and then continue. All right, we're back. No Country for Old Men. Yeah, he goes back to where Llewellyn was killed, and they do this weird thing. Like I read the book too after I watched it. And the scene is handled very differently there. Like, it's like, he goes into the room, and then they show you this shot of Anton kind of in the shadows. And for no reason. Like, he's not in the room. And I guess he could have slipped out through the bathroom window is kind of the suggestion, but it kind of doesn't make sense. Like, it just struck me as just a weird little thing to build up some tension that wasn't really deserved. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
Like, it's like, this is a suspenseful scene, and it's like, well, it doesn't really need to be, but alright. And then it kind of just doesn't do anything. And it was weird. Like, I've seen it like half a dozen times or whatever. I still don't know why that's there other than just to put the audience on edge, which just kind of doesn't seem fair. It's like the only scene in the movie that I have any kind of, that could have been handled a little differently or better.
Right.
But that's just an opinion thing too, so whatever.
Who wrote the novel?
Cormac McCarthy.
Oh, the dude that did
The Road.
The Road, yes.
Yeah, which I started reading and then put it on pause to read Mass Effect books because I like cheese. But anyway.
Did you see The Road?
I have The Road. I bought it over Christmas as well, but
So
I kind of want to read the book too, just to have that before because usually I go the other way. It's just like, oh, I'll watch the movie. Oh, there's a book on whatever.
Yeah.
That's a terrible
book,
thing.
Kind of depressing and dark.
Which, No Country or The Road?
No, The Road.
I'm just gonna say yes, but I haven't gotten far enough in it to really get hit with anything. But it clearly seems to be going in a. Yeah. Well, no sense talking about The Road right now. But yeah, No Country. Like the adaptation is actually really quite close on that one too. So there's some scenes that play out exactly the same in the book and the movie, like the friendo bit with the shopkeeper, like almost word for word, like exact same. I think they even describe him putting down the candy bar wrapper and it kind of uncurling. You know?
Oh wow!
So it's pretty close. It's kind of weird, but it's really good. Why are we talking about No Country?
Barton Fink.
Oh yeah, Barton Fink. Yeah, it's good. I don't know. John Turturro. It's a good movie, but it's not even in my top 5 Coen's movies, let alone the rest of them. So
quickly top 5 Coen movies.
All right, so No Country, Serious Man. Oh man, number 3 is probably Fargo. Then we got probably Blood Simple, and then what would I put at number 5? True Grit was really good. It's a really good movie. I need to see it again though before I can put it up there. So, I don't know. I'll leave it there. Actually, I'm just gonna put it there at number 5. And you saw that if you're ready to talk about it, but unless that wasn't chronological.
Yes, I did. I actually saw it yesterday. Yeah, last night.
Okay. Might as well. It's a smooth transition.
Yeah, as smooth as we'll ever get, I guess, probably.
Well, Coen's
So anyways, True Grit. Jeff Bridges does a really good job of Cogburn.
He's alright, but you know who's actually really, really good?
Is Maddie
Haley
Ross.
Steinfeld. Amazing.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that at all, because I was like, oh no, there's a kid in this movie, it's not going to be very good.
Yeah, I don't like kid actors.
But knocked it out of the park. It was crazy.
You forget she's
good.
a kid.
Yeah.
Like, really quick, in the first scene.
I don't know if yeah,
First scene
actually,
with,
yeah. Even the first scene where she's talking to the gravekeeper guy or whatever, the coffin maker.
yeah,
It's yeah. It like you're just like, no, this is great. This is great. All my fears evaporated almost immediately when I started watching it. But yeah, no, Jeff Bridges is also really great. Just rambling stuff.
it's a rambling man.
Yeah, and then he runs to this dude with his bearskin, and it's hilarious. You need to see it.
Yeah, that part is really surreal.
That was probably my favorite single moment in the movie. But there's a bunch of other good ones too. We shouldn't really. I don't know.
The ending.
It's still pretty current. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. The ending originally struck me as like just kind of weirdly flat, but then that kind of made a lot of sense, and I was like kind of moved by it in a strange way, which the Coens don't usually do. They never really develop relationships in a way that like you're supposed to care about without like ruining it somehow for their own twisted pleasure. You know what I mean?
I do,
Like
yes.
that nihilism creeps in, and here it kind of is put in the back seat. You know, they just kind of still kind of there, but it's not at the
It's not an
foreground.
overtone.
Yeah,
maybe
so it's just kind of
tempering.
like it plays out as like a more or less conventional movie with like this weird flavor mixed in, which I thought
Probably
was
because
awesome.
it was originally a more conventional movie.
Well, it's actually supposed to be an adaptation of the book in theory, but apparently the first movie was a very close adaptation of the book as well. So I haven't seen the John Wayne movie, so I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I don't know how many ways you could probably like go
Tell
off
that
the
story.
whole like girl hires dude to do something.
Yeah, apparently there's some scenes that are basically the same, but Matt Damon's in it instead, so it's obviously way better.
Yeah, Matt Damon. When you first see his character, you kind of don't like him. Like he's kind of creepy.
But he's got that amazing stash. His name's like
It's true.
LaBeef, is it?
The Bluff or whatever. Like it's
It's like Shia LaBeouf, but
yeah,
they keep saying
exactly. But they
LaBeef.
call him La Beef,
Yeah, and he's pretty funny.
and
Oh,
he
that's a fun
talks
movie.
all the time.
Yeah, man.
Texas
That's
Ranger.
yeah, he's pretty proud of that business. Oh, yeah, that I need to see that again. That was cool. Like that debuted high on my top 10 list, with only one viewing. So
Yeah. Little FYI, that takes the place of what's it called on my top 10 of last year.
Hot Tub Time Machine,
No, it doesn't take 10th place.
but it bumps it.
It bumps it off. Yeah.
No, poor Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yeah, but I mean, can you really say you're
No, not
surprised?
really. Honorable mention for Hot Tub Time Machine, and its wacky business that it does. That movie's pretty
I
fun.
guess. Yeah, I think this is probably under Black Swan, like at 5 or 6 or whatever I had it at. I can't remember.
I honestly didn't memorize that list, so I apologize.
It's alright. I didn't either, so you know.
Are you ready to talk about some science fiction, or
I
not
have
yet?
one more thing I saw. I don't know. It's a documentary. It's called that. This is not yet rated.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know
I
if
did
you
see
ever
that.
saw that one.
I ended up watching it on Netflix. Yeah.
Kind of
It-
interesting. I almost fell asleep in it.
There's like yeah, that movie has a weird kind of two sides to it. Like the bit where he's kind of hiring these investigators.
I don't
and
like
stuff.
that until around the end when you see.
Yeah, like once you
what's
get the
going on.
results. But a lot of that, like just kind of them
Killed
setting
it.
up stuff and whatever, is just kind of boring. But then
Yeah.
they'll intercut it with kind of like, anyway, here's how the MPAA is totally messed up, and you're like, oh, okay, thanks for bringing my interest back for a little while. And then
It's
they
funny
continue.
seeing John Waters up there.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I've seen any John Waters films. It's
Hairspray.
not. I didn't end up seeing Hairspray, and I mean to see
It's-
Crybaby.
You know, it's actually pretty good.
It's not even a musical, right? Like the new. Are we talking about the new one, or are
The
we talking
new
about
one
the
with
'80s
John
one?
Travolta as the mother.
Oh, okay. I was referring to the '88 or whatever, like the first movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
'Cause
never saw
he
that
actually
one either.
directed that. Like I think he just had like a story credit or something on Hairspray. He might have
Yeah.
produced it too. I think he was happy with how it turned out. But I didn't see that. It's on Netflix as well.
Yeah,
I
never
could
saw
watch
the
it.
original.
But it's a musical, and Amanda Bynes is in it, and I don't know, dude. That doesn't sound like a good expenditure of time, despite Christopher Walken. You know,
Christopher Walken is gold.
he can be gold
I mean, in this.
in this movie.
specifically.
Okay, Because, like, I was about to say, like, I've heard he was in Joe Dirt, so I don't know.
I never ever wanted to see Joe Dirt, and I still don't.
I've seen parts of Joe Dirt. He was in, like, a balloon or something. But anyway, we're not going to talk about David Spade. What were we? Oh, yeah, this film's not yet rated.
Yeah.
Man,
know.
So how about that
kinda
MPAA? Broken, right?
Sorry?
How about the MPAA? Like, totally corrupt and weird, right?
Yeah, definitely. I totally understand why they exist, but, like, they don't exist properly, in my opinion.
They're kind of abusing their power, and...
Oh, they're totally abusing their power. It's not even that they're abusing their power for, like, the betterment of anything. It's for, like, their paychecks, pretty much.
I guess certain studio heads get to go to certain meetings and stuff. Yeah, it's really weird. Like, it's basically like this thing put in place to, like, stomp out independent movies from really catching fire. Seems to be almost what it's doing, you know? Yeah. Like how they almost shut down Blue Valentine by giving us NC-17 last year until people complained about it. I don't know if I do, because all I ever hear about is like, yo, it's like really depressing. So how about that? I can deal with depressing, but like I'm seeing Beautiful this Friday, so I'm gonna get a hearty dose of depressing type business. But
I guess that really means I have to watch Dogtooth so we can talk about some of these foreign films.
I've been meaning to see Dogtooth too. Actually, I inquired about acquiring a copy, but it's apparently not really. I think it's in Europe, so you can get it in English somewhere, but right now it's not out here.
I'm pretty sure I have a copy of it that I might be able to pass on to you.
What do you mean?
We'll talk about this later.
Okay. So, all right. Some sort of shady business.
Pretty shady.
So this I don't know what else to say about this. You should talk about this film. It's not yet rated. I haven't seen it in a couple weeks.
In a couple weeks. Also, it was kind of recent.
Couple months. I think it was when Netflix started up. Is when I watched that.
Oh, was it available from the get-go?
Yeah, it was a pretty early one.
Okay.
They have a lot of documentaries.
Yeah, I've been on and off Netflix, so I didn't really see it before. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's not really much to say about it. It's something like people should watch because it kind of like blasts open the doors to the MPAA. I found it weird that like they could legally get away with just being like, "Hey, we don't give these people's names out," and then they like post them right there in big letters.
Yeah,
and like show their faces and everything. I mean,
well, it's just because like there should be at least some transparency there when there isn't any. So I guess they're going the exact to the most extreme kind of thing they can.
Right.
It's kind of weird, yeah.
There's quite a few people talking in it. I'm just trying to think of some people besides Sean Waters. There was Matt Stone.
Adam McGowan mentioned some stuff.
Kimberly Pierce or whatever.
The directors of Boys Don't Cry.
Yes,
yeah. Too. Is that her?
I never saw that movie.
It's on Netflix too. I've been meaning to watch it, but I never did see it. Not a big Hilary Swank fan.
Yeah.
I don't know. She just doesn't.
She's good, but I don't know.
Like $1 Million Baby, just whatever, What anyway?
Wayne Kramer's in there for the cooler.
I didn't see that either.
I didn't either, but
with Maria Bello or whatever.
Yeah, she was on the same couch as him when they were both talking about it. I don't know. MPAA, they're kind of like, if there's nudity that involves a woman seeking pleasure or having pleasure, or like gay people doing anything, it's pretty much NC-17.
It'll bump you up to NC-17. Yeah, there's definitely some weird prejudices there. Although that was like 4 years ago, so maybe they've shaped up a little.
It's changed, but like, I don't know. It's kind of an outrage, really. Like, I don't know. It kind of pissed me off, to be honest with you. Like,
it's not even a government organization or anything. It's just like this weird
off. And every
company.
Time they show, what's his name? I can't remember his name. The main dude for the MPAA. Do you remember?
Oh, I can't remember. Yeah, he passed away. He's not even the head anymore.
Yeah, that's good.
But that's
Jack Valenti.
Right. Just kind of the origins of it and everything are kind of messed up.
He's pretty much worse than Hitler when it comes to this stuff.
In terms of censoring films,
you heard it here first.
In America,
Jack Valenti is worse than Hitler.
All right, we better bounce on to something else
Yes, let's
before
keep going.
weird, controversial. So Alien, right? Oh yeah, you didn't get to see it.
Well, I mean, I have seen it. It's been out for like 25 years.
Whoa, more like 32 years.
Yeah, I guess we're not in the year 2000 anymore, are we?
Not quite 32, but yeah. Anyway, double feature digital film festival. I saw Alien and Aliens back to back, and you missed out on seeing Alien.
You with Aliens, but I missed out on Alien because it sold out.
Yeah, there was a good amount of people there. The crowd for Alien though, mad restless, like just like walking around, and not restless in that like they were obviously scared. It was like everyone was just kind of like tired or bored or something.
Which is kind of understandable because those are really long movies, especially after a long day on a Friday and you're kind of tired.
Well, actually, Alien clocks in at less than 2 hours, but something about it, like...
I don't know, I'm kind of glad I didn't get to see both. I would have rather seen Alien hands down, but, like, both together, I don't know how you did it, because
you would rather see Ridley Scott's Alien, is what you're saying?
Yes, rather see Alien than Aliens, but, like, I'm glad I saw one of them, but I wouldn't have wanted to see both. So,
alright. Yeah. Here's where I kind of just realized something about myself, and kind of have to just put it out there. Aliens is a better movie. So, how about that?
I don't necessarily disagree with you. I like Alien a lot better, though.
Okay. See, I was kind of one of those, like, just, you have to say Alien, because, I mean, it's Ridley Scott, it's just a more prestigious movie or whatever. There's nothing prestigious about that movie at all. There's aliens bursting out of dudes' chests, like, just, it's silly. It's, like, inherently kind of campy, but that movie isn't really having much fun at all. Whereas James Cameron just cranks up the cheese, and it's actually really fun.
Okay, would you say it's a fair statement to say Alien is better, like, as maybe
mood,
like an art,
an atmosphere?
Yeah, atmosphere, like an art movie.
In terms of mood and atmosphere, I would not go around praising the incredible artistry of it, though, because, like, it's still just a horror movie. Like, don't put a rose-colored filter on it.
Movie, like,
it's just, it's flat out just a monster movie. It doesn't exactly elevate anything. Like, it's just a good execution on that. It does do some cool stuff with, like, hey, it's in space. That's kind of novel, and there's some cool kind of atmospheric business and whatever. But, like, some of the character banter, like the interactions between characters, is just kind of painful. It's not very good, and it's also kind of painful in Aliens, but at least it's kind of more self-aware and cheesy. Like, Hudson in Aliens, Bill Paxton's character, is ridiculous. Like, he's just chewing scenery all the time, but it's hilarious. That crowd was losing it, and I was so happy.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was just me or something, but no, man, that guy's funny.
I can't remember when it happened, but something happened that wasn't funny, and some dude just started cracking up, and that made me laugh for, like, the rest of the movie.
I remember late in the movie, there was, like, one guy in particular really kind of went, oh, yeah! When Ripley does, like, the head tilt before she burns everything.
Oh,
and
yeah, that's right.
Watching it, I was like, that was actually a really cool moment. That guy's right. Like, I didn't exclaim out loud my appreciation of it, but yeah, man, that scene's cool. I don't care.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Like, since the Titanic kind of Avatar stuff, like, I've given James Cameron a lot of crap, but dude knows how to make a fun, just roller coaster movie. Like, it's not super intelligent or anything. It's just a fun time. Space Marines. It's just fantastic. There's androids getting ripped in half. Fun stuff happens. Although I will say that end fight with, like, the, like, lifter droid thing and the Queen,
the SCV.
Yeah, I forgot there was, like, no music or anything during that. Like, it struck me as really weird because it's just like hydraulic sounds and snapping.
You thought there was music over it?
It struck me as, like, a really weirdly kind of quiet, muted sequence.
I really like
action happening.
Because you just hear the, like, and stuff, and then, like, the aliens scream and stuff.
Yeah, and then the music kicks in again when the door opens, which was kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Something about the music, though, like, it's James Horner, and dude is straight up just recycling, like, 80% of his business from the Star Trek movies. Like, the Klingon stuff.
I've ever noticed that before. I'm going to have to give that a watch again.
Specifically the Klingon kind of themes he uses, like just it's like a faster paced version of that with like the same instrumentation as Space Marines are running around and doing stuff. But whatever, it's still entertaining. I don't know. That was actually my first time seeing the theatrical cut because I've only
God, I
ever
wish
seen.
we had seen the director's cut.
I like some stuff in the director's cut, but I don't know. This movie has a good kind of pacing to it.
It definitely has a good pacing. I like that you don't see them finding the colony. You know what I mean?
They don't show the colony prior.
I really like that.
Okay. So why do you prefer the director's cut then? Like, there's like one line in the director's cut I prefer,
Right.
and I guess the turret stuff.
That's turret all the way.
Turret stuff's okay. You get to see some more alien stuff, but again, that stuff kind of ends up being pointless because they have to run away from there anyway.
Not really, because it just kind of beefs up that, like, hey, this is a silly, crazy action sci-fi movie. Let's go. Let's
show this alien explode, and there's blood everywhere, and that blood's acid, so it's burning.
Yep.
Yeah. It has some fun, and like I mentioned after seeing it, like they cut out the hamsters, which I'd really gotten used to.
Yeah,
like they're detecting their motion
one
sensor.
One of the 3 comments you made to me the whole time.
It's like, there's no hamsters.
It's like, dude, no hamsters? I'm out of here.
Yeah, because like it was such a stupid scene too. Like I had issue with it even when I first saw it, because like it's been like months since this colony went dark or whatever. And then they're searching around, and then they go into this office, and they're like, oh, it might be an alien. Oh, it's just some hamsters in, like, a play, like, structure. But, like, how have those hamsters survived on their own?
Space
hamsters. Think about that. Yeah, space hamsters. Mass Effect 2 is space hamsters.
What was it, 6,000 credits or something?
I don't remember. It was worth every cent, though. And that hamster can't die, unlike your fish. But anyway.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, like, I don't want to lose any like film cred or whatever. Like Alien is still, that's the one thing I'll give Alien. It does a great job of kind of setting up the universe and stuff. Like
it does a good job for what it's there for.
It like sets up the dominoes so James Cameron can knock them down. You know, like it does the heavy lifting. It gives you this character. It gives you like this premise and this alien and like the company and all that stuff. And then James Cameron just kind of takes the ball and runs with it, and I was fine with that, you know?
Yeah, like I said, I don't disagree with you. I still prefer Alien.
That's fair. That's alright.
Maybe it's a nostalgia thing more than anything, because I do agree that Aliens is funner to watch, and I think it's because it is a better, like, overall movie. But, I don't know, Alien has a hold on me.
Okay. I just, like, I'm not trying to, like, discredit Ridley Scott or anything. Dude's done some big, important stuff for sci-fi. Like, if you're going to talk about Blade Runner, like, yeah, that movie's fantastic. But Alien, I don't know. It does some stuff. It does some great stuff. But as a movie, I'll throw in and just watch. It definitely falls second to Aliens. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be honest.
What did you think of Alien 3?
I haven't seen Alien 3 in a long time. My perception of it was extremely negative just because it kind of undoes all the stuff that Aliens does. But looking back on it, like, it kind of had to. Like, you basically have to kill Newt, or else, like, what are you going to do? Recast her, you know? It's just...
Yeah, and, I mean, it's Newt.
Newt, yeah, also Newt kind of sucks. I forgot, like, there's some dumb stuff in Aliens, but it just moves better, is all I'm saying. And it has, like, better sense of humor about it, and whatever. But yeah, Newt is kind of terrible. I like Hicks a lot. Like, Michael Biehn is great, and they kill him, too, in the third one. I need to see it again, though, because, like, I didn't know who David Fincher was at the time, other than the dude that ruined the Alien movies. So you know, now that I have some respect for him, I should probably go back and just see what's going on.
I honestly don't think he even ruined the movies. I really like that movie as well.
Okay. In terms of just, like, script stuff and what it does to, like, the characters, I was really put off by it. But on its own, maybe it works fine. Some of the stuff, though, like, I was thinking about leaving Aliens. Like, how on earth is there any other eggs or anything? Like, how do they explain that away in Alien 3? Because, like, it's ridiculous enough that queen was there for an end battle, let alone, like, it also snuck aboard an egg and hid it somewhere. You know? Like, nonsense. Explain that. Explain it.
What? Sorry?
Explain that to me, Paul. What's the deal?
It's movie magic.
Alright. I'll watch it again.
It's also a movie about aliens.
So just go with it. Just stop complaining. Just aliens. Just have fun. I guess so.
Why do you gotta overanalyze?
Cause it's
Dude, have
all
fun.
right.
Have fun.
All right. I'll try to just have fun. Okay.
Ridley
We'll
Scott,
move on.
James Cameron, and David Fincher all like, dude, have fun. Like, seriously, Nathan, have fun.
I did have fun with one of those films.
Have fun.
Okay.
Stop thinking.
I'm also interested now in actually seeing other films by the Alien Resurrection guy, because apparently he's really good. He's Jean-Claude Junet or whatever.
Did you like Alien Resurrection?
Not really. It's kind of terrible.
See,
but there's gross stuff in it.
Kind of like it, maybe.
Ron Perlman, Winona Ryder robot.
Not that. I don't know.
I don't hate Winona Ryder, but yeah.
I don't either, but like it's not
Clone
good
Ripley.
in the Alien like legacy. I don't know. If it was anything else, it would be more manageable, I think. I don't know. It's just kind of
like it would be like a fun, like dumb, kind of deep rising.
Just like a sci-fi, like, hey, there's an alien here, and oh look, they're like cloning things.
Sure, like just as a dumb kind of romp through space, like Event Horizon 2 or something.
I really like Event Horizon.
I own Event Horizon, but whatever. We won't talk about other space movies right now. What else did you see, or is that your entire list? Was this film's not yet rated?
Yes.
Okay, I got more. I rewatched Hunchback of Notre Dame, the animated film.
Yeah, okay.
Why are you going around calling it a cartoon? That's belittling.
Because it is a cartoon.
No, man, cartoons like Saturday morning type stuff. This is a full-on animated feature.
Okay, so what's wrong with the Saturday cartoons?
They're just lower quality animation and they're half an hour. That's the distinction. That's all I mean.
They both do the same thing. You have fun with them.
That's the thing though with Hunchback is like that is like a weird dark movie for kids, despite it not going all the way in terms of the book.
Yeah, it doesn't do like what it probably should. Maybe I don't know.
No, it shouldn't. I do not want to see the ending of the book rendered in an animated film. That would just be too devastating because it's such a bummer. That book is just
to
depressing.
be true to the story. I mean, honestly, it probably should have.
Whatever. They take enough from like the weird darker side of the book and incorporate it into a fun-filled kids musical that I was still pretty impressed with what they ended up with. Like Claude Frollo's still messed up. He basically like that song Hellfire, dark business. He's just like lusting over Esmeralda and like all this weird stuff is totally still in there. It's just in a kids movie. So you kind of have to tone it down.
But I mean,
and he's still trying to like genocide the gypsies, man. There's some dark stuff.
Is this really surprising to you? Have you not seen Walt Disney stuff before? Like, Disney stuff is kind of disturbing when you think kids watch this.
How far back, though? Like, this is like 96. Like, I guess, like, the poacher guy in Rescuers Down Under dies, which is kind of weird.
Really like that.
And actually, that movie's about, like, child kidnapping and stuff. So, yeah, that gets pretty weird, too.
Pretty much like
and, like,
Disney
animals
movie,
getting
except
killed.
For, like, recently with The Princess and the Frog has been about, like, some
Well, there's got voodoo. There's voodoo in there. Dark spirits.
I guess.
Keith David is gonna curse you. That's what happens. He's got his hexes and everything. I didn't love that movie, but there's some weird stuff there too. Yeah, you're right. Like Disney's not afraid to throw dark every now and then.
And I mean, if you go really far back, it gets so much darker.
But I just mean like almost everything about this movie. Like the fact that it's about this guy who's like grown up in isolation and is like hideously deformed. Like that as your core character guy, and he's just really depressed all the time. And then like kind of this stuff about government, like church and state kind of battling, and there's a whole musical number about like just set in this church, kind of where Esmeralda's singing about being an outcast from as a people and everything. It's weird. I found it quite interesting that they would do that. As a movie though, again, like it has some of the same problems I had with Dinosaur, in that it throws kind of low balls for kids every now and then. Like there's the goat character and the gargoyles that are basically just there to kind of camp things up a bit. But I don't know, I was still pretty impressed by it, especially the music. Like Alan Menken, that dude, that guy, he's pretty awesome.
So do you own this movie, or did you see it? Like
I just borrowed it. I don't know if I'll pick it up. I might. I did quite like it, but I don't know how often I could go about watching it.
There's kind of a few Disney movies I wouldn't mind picking up.
I'm trying to like I have Sword in the Stone now, which I always really liked,
That's
despite it
one I
not
would
being
like to have.
super amazing in terms of like
I really like The Lion King too because it's Hamlet.
yeah, yeah, and like dude, like James Earl Jones, so and Jeremy Irons, there's some good stuff in there. Matthew Broderick, yeah, Lion King's pretty good. I want to see Pocahontas again, actually.
Yeah, because it's Avatar.
It it's the original Avatar, but also just some of the songs in that I also remember being really good.
Actually, it's kind of weird you bring that up. I was with my friend when we missed Alien. We were
Ah,
walking around
yes.
the mall and we stopped in the Discovery Hut, and it's like they sell little kitty toys and like stuffed animals and all that sort of thing. They were totally playing Colors of the Wind or whatever, Paint with the Colors of the Wind,
Yeah, that's the song. That's the one that
and I
just like
started
crept back in
singing
my
along
brain.
to it. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
a good song. Yeah, I was reading some stuff last week about just like color theory and films and stuff, and that song just jumped into my brain, and I was like, all right, I need to watch this on YouTube right now, or else I, won't be able to go on. And it's a great song. It's really good.
it is pretty good. I agree. Yeah.
Um, and reading on the history of that movie is kind of interesting because they went like way serious on that one, kind of, because they thought that would be a cool, prestigious thing for them to do, and like it didn't do very well because of it. Because at some point they had like talking animals and stuff, and they toned that out. They just kicked that out of the movie.
I
But
remember for a while there when Disney
mm,
was. I remember when Disney was releasing movies pretty much every year, like an animated feature. When we were younger, they all came out around my birthday on June 30th, like
oh,
at
they
the
just
end of
kind of
June.
that was
So
the
that was just
typical
kind of the
time.
thing. Like for my
Pixar
birthday,
kind of
a
has
bunch
their
of us
yearly schedule
would
too.
go out to a Disney movie. Pocahontas was, I think, the last one. So it's kind of like
Did you see Hercules or?
no, I didn't. Pocahontas was like literally the last one that we did the birthday thing, going to those, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
kind of like represents like the death of my childhood
Oh,
in an
so
okay
there's
way.
dark memories. Oh, okay, good. I guess one other thing I just want to say, like I mentioned the gargoyles earlier as like cheesy comic relief, but I do enjoy kind of looking at that as no, Quasimodo is just really lonely. Like he's just talking to himself, man, and he is like some of the
Kind of
dialogue
like
they give the
Garfield
gargoyles.
minus Garfield.
Yeah, but it's inherent in the narrative for the most part. There's a couple weird exceptions for like no reason. Like late in the movie when the battle's happening, like I think the gargoyles are actually doing stuff, which doesn't make any sense. But earlier in the movie, they kind of set it up as though it's just kind of him reflecting on his own thoughts, because like their dialogue will kind of echo things he's been saying. If I don't
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah,
there's richness there. I don't know. It's good. It's good. It's a good movie. It's at like 6.6 on IMDb. That's unfortunate because it's better than that.
it seems like one I would probably have to watch again. I mean, it's been a long time.
Fair enough. What? Oh yeah, and then the double shot of academic films, starting with I think it's the second Jean-Luc Godard film I've seen. Tout va bien, I guess you want to say. I'm not. I haven't taken French in a while, but it means everything's all right. I think is the thing. It's all right. The basic idea of this movie is it's like a deconstruction of movies. Do you Do you follow?
Like a satire,
Kind of
or
like
kind of
it's
like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a commentary.
kind of a commentary on like the devices typically seen in narrative films. So
Okay.
it's trying to kind of subvert all of that. And it opens kind of in an entertaining way with like all right, so we want to make this movie. Like just kind of voiceover happening. I don't know if it's actually Jean-Luc Godard or not, but it's like two people talking, like a man and a woman talking about making a movie. And they're like, "All right, well, first we're going to need like this list of stuff, like a cinematographer, an editor, some stars and everything." So then they show like actually dudes signing checks and ripping checks for each component of making the movie. So
Okay.
that's kind of cool. Like that's kind of
Yeah.
a funny thing. And it's like super self-aware type stuff. Like it's like, all right, we're gonna get some international stars. So like Jane Fonda, and then like Jane Fonda kind of appears, and then this French guy, I can't remember his name. He was apparently a big deal. like in 1972 when this came out. And oh wait, but we need some sort of story. All right, how about romance or something? And then they just kind of conjure this up. Like it's kind of the reason I was kind of wanted to bring up adaptation is it's kind of doing the same thing where it's like very aware of like everything that goes into the movie as part of the movie itself.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
where I feel adaptation does a way better job is that movie's actually fun to watch and is entertaining.
Right. Which, I mean,
Where
in my opinion, at the end of the day, that's what, like, this whole thing is about. That's what you and me are talking about, stuff that's fun to watch, right?
That's kind of what I want. Like, I don't want to just be a dismissive. Like, as I was watching it, like, I guess I should finish talking about it. Okay, it's an extremely boring movie. Like, it at some point it loses that comic kind of tone to it, and it just starts playing it kind of straight. Kind of like in the same way where like adaptation eventually kind of devolves into the thing Charlie Kaufman was joking about earlier, but that almost happens immediately.
Okay, would you say like stale then?
Yes, but consciously, which doesn't make it okay. Like that was kind of my thing.
Because other movies can do stale and fun.
Like it's stale in a way that where it's like, get it? It's stale, funny, right?
It's
and
like, yeah, I get it. It just sucks.
But this movie, it'll be like, this is stale. Get it? No, get it? No, do you get it?
No.
No. And it just keeps putting it in front of you, and it's just like a scene. Every scene plays out extremely long. Like there's like at least 4 different scenes in the movie where it's literally just a character just talking at you for like 5 minutes.
Okay, where did you have to watch this?
In class, in film theory class. Like that's the thing with
just like walk out.
No, I need to see it just so I can go around and continue to say, yo, Jean-Luc Godard kind of sucks. Alright? Like, I want to build up. I'm actually probably going to seek out more of his films just as, like, ammunition. Just to be like, alright, this guy may have done some cool stuff in terms of, like, you know, camera movement and, like, narrative kind of design and stuff, but his movies are terrible. You don't want to watch them. You want to watch the stuff people who took a note from his kind of example and went on to do other things. Like Quentin Tarantino's whole operation, like Band Apart, that is named after a Jean-Luc Godard film. Like he's a big fan, but he makes entertaining movies, so that's better. I don't care if they're like pop culture, like treasure troves with maybe no real meaning behind it. They're fun to watch. I will watch Jackie Brown 6 times. I don't ever want to see this movie ever again.
Right.
And just yeah, like like there's a whole political side to it too. That's just kind of it's clearly about communism type stuff, and like it's set in this factory primarily. And there's some cool, just kind of like camera moves and set design stuff. Like they basically, it's almost like a side-scrolling kind of segment for just to make it a video game analogy, where they just kind of cut super wide. And you see like 2 floors of this factory with like 8 rooms, say, each populated by characters, and it just kind of pans across it, and you kind of, it's like a house was cut in half or something. Like it looks cool.
So it's like a cross section as opposed to like a panorama.
Yeah, like it's like cross section. Yeah,
right. Instead of just like swinging the camera around and looking around each room, it's like you see all of it at one time.
You just see all of it happening, but right. It's cool. It's like a cool set design creation or whatever. But the thing that is happening isn't interesting, so you don't care. That said though, like I don't want to be challenged on that because like I know the movie knows that what it's doing is boring, but
like we said,
like I said,
okay. That doesn't make it okay.
That works as like an experiment or whatever, but in no way should anyone really seek this out at all, except as like a point of curiosity, maybe. Even with that said, like I've seen experimental films like a couple years ago, last year maybe. I was in a class that was specifically dedicated to experimental films, and you would watch like some of the most absurd things that would by all accounts be really boring, but I found some of those like infinitely more compelling than this. We literally watched this movie. I think it was called Wavelength. I believe the director was Michael Snow, and he's a Canadian experimental film director. The entire movie is literally just a really, really, really slow zoom in across a giant room in a hotel, and it's like 40 minutes long.
Oh, that sounds fun.
And periodically, like, stuff happens in the room, and like there's some weird color effects and stuff, and there's some audio stuff happening, but it's like really, really plain and simple. But it was actually a more like interesting experience than this movie was, because for that exact reason, where it just kind of like it knows it's boring and it knows you're bored, and it's just kind of like poking you for like 90 minutes. Like, it was the longest 90 minutes I've experienced in quite a while.
Fun fact, it's rated the same on IMDb as your previous movie.
6.6?
6.7.
Oh, okay. Hunchback was 6.6.
It's roughly the same.
Which is a travesty, because it's way better. But more conventional, sure, I guess. But that, like, you don't win points for being like uniquely kind of subversive. It's still not fun. So yeah, where I appreciate Charlie Kaufman's kind of thing is he'll kind of do that, but he'll constantly be aware of like, all right, people need to want to watch this, you know. So I'm gonna put some measure of like thought and effort into creating at least an interesting character or something to pull you through. And I get that Godard is trying to kind of break that down and make characters as flat and like cliched and uninteresting as possible, because that's what movies are, I guess, like, is what he's saying. Like, he's kind of criticizing typical Hollywood movies. But I don't know. It still seems just like super overly self-conscious. It's not fun. It's not fun. Just don't.
I never plan to.
All right. Just he's one of those directors where like you check the Criterion website and like a dozen of his movies are in there. Like Kurosawa, you can watch any of those today and like good times await if you're ready to enjoy some Japanese dialogue and like 3-hour movies. Like, if you can settle yourself in for some of that, those movies hold up super well. This stuff, just like, it was probably really groundbreaking and, you know, changed the way things are, but it's been improved upon, and you don't need to see it. Even like
I'm still of the thought that like a movie has to be entertaining. Like, it can be I don't know. I know there's people that argue differently. It's like, no, it can be commentary and blah blah blah. It can be all that, but at the end of the day, if it's not entertaining, I'm not going to watch it. Your point is lost on me. Guess what? You failed.
Yeah.
Like
I don't want to be
during class. If I like rented this, I would just return it if it's that boring. Like, I don't care.
Yeah,
if you can't hold my interest, guess what? You lost me and you failed at what you're trying to do to get to me. That's my theory on it.
I guess so, yeah. Like, it kind of made it pretty apparent that, like, even if you have some stylistic flair and stuff, like, if the core of it is supremely uninteresting, it doesn't really matter. And, like, I've defended movies previously that were, like, very stylish, but the story kind of sucked. Like, have you seen The Cell?
I really like The Cell.
I like The Cell, too, but I like it primarily as a visual movie. Like,
totally. It has, like,
the story is pretty lame. Like, it's just like, hey, serial killer stuff. But, like, at least it has, like, just some sort of basic semblance of a plot thread. The most compelling part of this movie was actually a sequence involving this man who had to pee. You know, he was trying to find a bathroom.
Okay,
like,
that
was the
really says everything I need.
It was the only, like, remotely relatable thing that happened in the entire movie. And
well, I mean, everyone's had that problem.
No, I know, but like they take it to some comic extremes and stuff, and that's fine. Final point of comparison, I guess. A lot of it kind of reminded me of some of the stuff the Monty Python troupe did. You know, in terms of like self-aware, like playing off like cliches and stuff.
Did it good though, right?
Yeah, I know. It's like they saw those boring, dry French films and were like, this could be really, really entertaining and special if it, you know, had a sense of humor, you know. So they injected that in there, and sure enough, like, genius stuff happened.
Yep.
So the ideas at the core of it are fine. It's just the execution of it is so dry and just pompous and frustrating. Despite some visual stuff, like there's a cool sequence at the end in terms of just camera setup where it pans across this grocery store like 4 times and just kind of shows like chaos just slowly build up with like various shoppers with their stuff, like their carts full of groceries and stuff, and then like this group of young kids comes in and kind of starts challenging this political activist dude who's there, and then like this big riot kind of happens. It like it's well executed, but it's again like there's no characters in it that you care about or anything, so none of it really matters. It's just like a purely like objectively it's kind of well done, but it's not fun again. So yeah, we should stop talking about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
It
this
just
has gone from a discussion to you ranting,
it I know it.
and it always kind of goes that way.
I'm sorry.
It's totally okay because it's fun for me to listen to.
Okay. Just I, dude's important or whatever, but I had to get some talk out because I'd been bottling up for a couple days. Final movie.
Okay, go.
Traffic.
Okay.
Steven Soderbergh.
This is one I made a comment about we kind of needed to talk about. What did you find this time around that
This
you
is
didn't
my
like before?
This is my third time seeing it. Last time I saw it was about 7 months ago. I think it was in July of last year. That time I wasn't super engaged by it. Like the first time I saw it, I was like 13, 14.
Right.
And I don't remember what I really just some of the characters just didn't really interest me and stuff, and I didn't really care that it all wove together in a kind of clever way. Watching it again this time, like the narrative is pretty strong. Like it is kind of cool that like these characters are directly impacting the other stories, but they never really meet face to face. That kind of thing.
Yep.
That's great. That's
kind of like what what's that movie now? That movie I didn't like. Tried to do. I'll think of it. Keep going.
Okay, just in terms of narrative and stuff, like it's really great. Don Cheadle is awesome. Like I periodically forget that, but then him in that movie, he's just fantastic. Like he's just great, entertaining dude. Him and what's his name, Luis. Dude, I forgot it, and then I saw it on the screen yesterday, and I was like, oh yeah, it's that guy.
What else is he in?
He's in like Boogie Nights. What was more recently? He was briefly in Yes Man.
He was the cook or the chef in Waiting.
Louise Guzman.
Okay.
Yeah,
yep.
Guzman is the name, I guess. Wait, I haven't actually seen Waiting because I don't know, Ryan Reynolds. I've heard it's funny. But
yeah, you don't like Ryan Reynolds, right?
I don't. Not really.
I think that's something that like you and me share that for sure. I don't think I've ever met anyone else that shared that with me. Because everyone's like, but he's so cute or funny. It's like, oh.
I
okay.
I haven't seen The Proposal, to be fair. Trying to think what put me off Ryan Reynolds though.
I am too.
Just maybe I'll give him another look, I guess. But yeah, Luis Guzman's in it too, and he's pretty good. They play off each other quite well. And we were like specifically we were kind of looking at the color scheme in the movie and just like the weird filter effects he does and stuff. Soderbergh does. I still don't quite know like what narrative purpose they're serving, but like it seems to be like Mexico is brown,
yep.
and Washington and like the East Coast is blue,
yep.
and San Diego is kind of just neutral. And I don't really know why that would be, other than to kind of help differentiate this, like where each character is at any given time. Maybe it's as simple as that, but I don't know. I'm sure there's some thematic element to it or something too, but. It's kind of complex that way. I wrote a little thing about it. I'm not gonna get into it too much, but yeah, just in terms of like just as a film going experience, I definitely got more out of it this time in terms of just like appreciating the narrative structure of it. Michael Douglas was really good. I kind of didn't really give him proper, credit, I guess, the first times I saw it.
He's really good in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's strong. He's good. He's a good guy. Nice that he's beating the cancer and he's back.
Agreed.
We'll see some more of him.
I really liked Benicio in that movie.
Yeah, his storyline's okay. I guess just like first times watching it, like the dingy kind of filter effects kind of bothered me maybe, but it's got its own unique look to it. I won't really discredit it for that. That was just my own personal like, man, this looks so dusty and sweaty. This is gross. Just something about it, which isn't a proper criticism really. It was just put me on edge or something.
Yeah.
Topher Grace is funny. Like he now, like especially knowing who he is and everything, like just seeing him talk all kinds of weird, like drugged up stuff is just weird now. It doesn't quite play as it should probably, but I found it amusing. I forget who played the daughter. She's okay, I guess. Not amazing, but
Yeah, I
whatever.
can't remember. I haven't seen that movie in at least, like, when did I graduate? It must have been about 6, 7 years ago.
um, and Catherine Zeta-Jones's side of it, like, I don't really like her as an
Who
actress,
does
I
she
guess.
play in that again?
She's the drug lord's wife.
Okay.
Like, yeah, like, Cheadle and Guzman arrest her husband, like basically find the evidence to arrest her husband right up front, and then it's kind of her dealing with the cartels and realizing she's part of this whole
Right,
drug ring
right.
and stuff. Like the story is actually pretty solid for her as well, and she's not terrible. It's just I don't know. I've never really found her that interesting. I
I
have
agree.
Intolerable Cruelty though, and I need to see it again, but I in general like I never saw Entrapment, so maybe I'm missing out. But yeah, I don't know. It's good. It's a pretty good movie. I do own a copy. I kind of inherited it though because I gave the person who owned it a better copy, the Criterion version. That's the only reason I have it. But I'll keep it. That's what I'll say. I won't throw it away into the garbage. Is that good?
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. That's it for movies. We've talked a lot about movies. Do you want to briefly mention some news items that happened?
Yeah, sure. I know you wanted to talk about some announcement that was made with one
I'm not sure where
Julia
you're going.
Roberts.
Yes, okay. So there's two Snow White films in the works. One of them was it was just announced that Julia Roberts may well play the evil queen. That film is coming out in 2011. There's another one called Snow White and the Huntsman, which is also in development. Which I think it's Charlize Theron is confirmed for the
As the evil queen. Yep.
And some rumors floating around that one is Viggo Mortensen as the hunter,
Yeah, I
and
could see
Kirsten
that.
Stewart as Snow White is a possibility.
Yeah.
I still don't hate Kirsten Stewart.
I
but
don't hate her, but Snow White.
Snow White is like such a kind of lively, kind of fun-loving
She's
character.
alive.
Yeah, like you
Kristen
know,
Stewart's dead. She's alive.
Kristen Stewart. Yeah, in a way,
It's just
I guess
look.
I kind of
I
agree
don't
with you.
like she's actually dead.
But she just seems kind of dreary and bummed out all the time. You know, like
Yeah.
that's kind of her persona in all these movies. Maybe she'll be singing and dancing in this one. I don't know. But apparently that movie, to be fair, the Huntsman one is taking it in a bit of a different direction, like a bit more darker, I guess. So that could be interesting. I don't know. The director's like a totally unproven guy though, Rupert Sanders.
Tim Burtonizing it.
I don't know if that's the thing, but I'm betting these movies were greenlit because Alice in Wonderland made $1 billion.
Yeah.
So they're just like, what are the fairy tales we got? All right, Snow White, let's do it. I like that old Disney movie, but I don't know what they'd exactly bring to the table in a live action remake, you know?
Yeah, I don't either.
Like, it could be just a kind of colorful, whimsical thing, but I don't know.
So
back
to Julia Roberts.
Right, back to the main point. In general, how do you feel about Julia Roberts as an actress?
She's okay in a few things, but I don't like her.
All right.
What
are the exceptions, I guess, for you? Because for me, what would I say?
Um,
She like Duplicity is an okay movie, and it's not destroyed by her presence. I guess the same could be said.
With Ocean's 11 and
yeah, and Charlie Wilson's War for me as well. Like she's
I
there.
never got to see that one.
It's pretty good. Aaron Sorkin, future Oscar winner. Hopefully.
She played the hell out of Erin Brockovich.
I haven't seen that in a long time, but given this recent Soderbergh kick, I should probably give it another look.
She did pretty good in that role.
Yeah, it seemed like such a kind of just a generic kind of fighting for the underdog kind of story, though. Like I remember Albert Finney as being pretty cool in that movie.
She was okay in Conspiracy Theory, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, out of the two evils, it's like you got her or a racist. So you know.
that's such a the Mel Gibson thing is such a bummer because there's so many Mel Gibson movies
I
I
know.
really like.
I
So it's
know.
just
Every
like
time you see him now, you could
it's
just
just like this weird little like tinge now.
because
It's
like
so
every
unfortunate. I
line he
just wish
says
like
that's bad, you could just hear him say Jews at the end, and it's
oh
just like, oh, why did you have to do that?
like I just wish I could erase my memory of that and just be like, do whatever. Braveheart is awesome. And you know what else? Lethal Weapon 2. But it's just it's all tainted now. That whole legacy
And it's
because
really sad.
it's really unfortunate. Like so, hopefully somehow he makes good. I don't know how he
Dude, he
would.
keeps digging. He's not going up anytime soon.
Maybe the Beaver will be awesome. That Jodie Foster movie. Maybe it'll be amazing.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, maybe
But even
he'll go on
then,
another drunken rant.
I know. It's I
He's
don't want
ruining
to.
so many years worth of hard work.
Like, yeah, he built up this really good, just like positive legacy, and then just ruined it really quickly.
I find it really entertaining, but it's really depressing.
Yeah,
Because he says some of the craziest stuff I think I've ever heard.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have listened to that rant. Like, I should have just read about it and be like, oh, that was just rumors. That was the news trying to bring him down. You know, trying to mess with celebrities.
Totally, and then
But I've heard it with my own
come
ears,
from
and you're just like, oh man. Yeah, like I got over the Michael Richards thing, you know, because he did that heartfelt apology thing.
Yeah, and I mean,
And like
I see
he
where
seems to
he
be
came
kind
from.
of
He was
vindicated,
flustered and he was pissy. Everybody has a bad day. And
right? Like he just kind of slipped into this like angry persona.
It's
but
true,
like,
but like if you hear it again,
it's pretty terrible.
It's pretty
It's
bad.
really terrible stuff that he's saying too.
Like, okay, I'll be the first one to admit, like the whole race thing. I'm not like fully like German or white or anything. I'm not some white supremacist or anything dumb like that. I don't mind a little bit of racism. In fact, I think sometimes it can be funny. That made me cringe a little bit. It was pretty bad.
Oh, like racially tinged. Like Louis C.K. can like say some of the same words, but he'll contextualize it in a way that's just like, okay, this is appropriate and kind of clever and all right. This is okay. But yeah, the stuff Michael Richards was saying was.
I think there's a difference between him saying, "Hey, this is like the whole like thing about the word," and Michael Richards saying, "We will. If this was back in the day, we would do this."
Yeah, it's like definitely different.
It's hateful and it's kind of sad because Michael Richards is an alright guy. I thought from Seinfeld, and I always thought, you know what, he'd probably be kind of a nice guy. Then like, I don't know, and he ruined.
All right. Well, okay. Let's try to steer it back. Julia Roberts hasn't done any of those things.
Not yet.
But you're right. Conspiracy Theory was okay. I specifically remember Patrick Stewart's nose getting bitten, which was pretty messed up. But
my best friend's wedding, she annoyed me in.
I need to see Notting Hill apparently because people keep going around being like, this is the chick flick that's okay. This one's good. This is a good romantic comedy.
I don't know. I thought Hitch was okay.
I hate Hitch so much.
Why?
So I'll pretend you didn't say that.
It.
It's just such a bad movie. It's just not good.
It's alright.
It's like he's getting all like this he has an allergic reaction and everything.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
Just kind of like gasping and just kind of flailing around trying to be funny. I don't know. That movie did nothing for me. Does it? Kevin James maybe? Is that what it is? Does he have heart?
Yeah, I gotta say, like, I'm not a Kevin James fan. I like him in that movie. And, like, I don't know, the whole feel of it. Like, Hitch isn't a bad dude at all. Because when I was being drugged to it, like, from the trailers, you think he's, like, a womanizer and, like, he's kind of, like, I don't know, almost borderline creepy. Like, he's kind of a douche or something. But like,
there was, like, a weird kind of borderline misogynist kind of, like, side to some of the characters he interacts with. But then, like, he kind of goes on. I felt it had a lot of weird hypocrisy in its gender politics, maybe.
I could see that.
I don't know. I haven't seen it in a long time, though. Maybe I was just a very different person.
Watching it again. Like, okay, if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's just that.
It's not like I don't like Will Smith, though. Like, Men in Black is awesome. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies.
Like, Our Robot was okay. He had a robot arm, and he, that was alright. That was entertaining. Alex Proyas, shout out.
I Am Legend.
I wasn't so big on that one, but
I liked it. The
Okay.
Omega Man's better.
Okay, really? Charlton Heston?
Damn right.
All right. We should probably just move on. Snow White's happening. I don't know. Somehow I'll probably end up seeing them. Maybe.
Tinkerbella's evil queen. See it now.
Oh wow, right? Yeah, she was totally in Hook.
She's
Yeah.
so forgettable in Hook. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's like super wide shots all the time, so you never really get a good like. Who is that? I don't know. Doesn't really matter. That movie's not very good. Anyway, the Coen brothers, who we've talked about quite extensively earlier in the show.
And in general, always, pretty much.
Ethan Coen, who I consider like the lovable, fun one of the two, more so.
Okay.
If you've ever seen them, he's more the writer guy.
Yeah.
And something about him, like when you see them being interviewed, like Joel is scary, like serious.
Even just like
on his face.
pictures of them.
Yeah, like Joel just looks just intense and
Ethan
really
looks
solemn.
a lot like one of my friends.
And Ethan's just kind of like, hey, what's going on? Like just thinking back on the legacy of it, like them being friends with the Raimis and stuff. Like I like to think that's because of Ethan. Like they hang out, and Joel kind of goes because he has to. I don't know why. I just have these imagined personas of what the Coen brothers are all about. But anyway, Ethan made a statement. Basically, people are trying to pick apart whether he was serious or joking or whatever. Because like someone asked him if he would ever make a horror film.
And we were kind of trying to pick it apart too a little bit.
Yeah, and the exact quote is, "Funny you should ask. Yes, we're working on a couple of scripts now, one of which it would be fair to call a full-on horror movie. Frances McDormand is the monster." That last bit is where it loses some credibility.
It sounds almost like, okay, it's them playing around.
Yeah, because that is his brother's wife, so little dig on the sister-in-law is kind of the thing people are. We've trying to find out where this story originally came from. I'm just gonna credit Feared Net, I guess. This is where I saw it. Sure, Empire apparently did a review and it was picked up or something. But the notion of the Coens doing a horror film is kind of cool. But whether it's like a monster movie, like they're saying, I don't think that part is serious.
Coen Brothers present Event Horizon 2.
Just in space. Ryan and I have actually had discussions about they should do a sci-fi film, because how weird would that be? And they've already done a lot of other genres. So I'd be way into it.
The nihilism in that would be ridiculous.
They just like post-apocalyptic or something? Or what do you mean?
In
just
space? It's just like...
You could do a lot of just depressing stuff with space. Like space, rather. Face. Bleh. But anyway, yeah.
Rather, face.
You could do, there's a lot of depressing things you could do in outer space if you really had to. That notion I would be into. A horror film, though, like, I forget who it was. One of them was an editor on Evil Dead back in the day. They worked with Raimi, like Sam Raimi. Just a minute, I'm going to find out exactly which one it was.
Sam Raimi.
And they both actually wrote a script for Sam Raimi back in the day. Oh, what was that movie? Crime Wave? It's one of the few projects they've worked on that I've been trying to find so I could watch it and just know what that's all about. Because I've heard it's kind of bad, but I don't really care at this point.
Right.
Because I've already seen all of their other stuff. Oh, wait a second. Huh. Did I just make... Oh, there he is. Editorial department. It was Joel, actually. It was the assistant film editor.
Oh, really?
So, maybe he's got a funner side than I give him credit. I don't know. But,
He seems so stern, though.
Yeah. But their movies don't necessarily come across as super stern, so there's got to be a fun side, right?
I mean, yeah.
But I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Coen Brothers horror movie, maybe not. I hope I'd be fine with that. I would go see that and enjoy it. Like even just bringing it back to No Country, like there's some good, just kind of dark, weird horror-y kind of things that happen with Anton in that movie.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That I could see them.
He reminds me of in that movie Michael Myers, just kind of the force that keeps like pursuing.
Yeah, even when he's hurt, like he's just got this cold kind of way of dealing with it that's kind of unsettling. Like, yeah, it kind of almost reminded me of the Terminator in a way, like that surgery scene he does,
Oh yeah, yeah.
fixing up
I
his
know what you're
mangled
talking
like shotgunned up leg or whatever. But yeah. Anyway, they clearly have the skill set. I guess I would be interested if they went in that direction. But again, it's just a like half a statement kind of thing. So who knows if it will ever happen?
Yeah, because like even Empire, there, whoever you want to credit, says in the full article that the latter half was obviously a joke.
Right.
So like, you wonder, was all of it a joke? I don't think all of it was. I don't
I,
know. Maybe it's just a fanboy in me hoping, because
yeah.
I'm a big fan of horror movies and I love the Coen brothers.
So to see those two things, yeah, that would.
Yeah, because I mean, it already happened that Kevin Smith made a horror movie. So
Yeah,
like,
I was kind of intrigued by that notion too, like just him going in a radically different direction, and it being about religious fundamentalism isn't a bad idea. So
yeah.
yeah, I finally listened to a Smodcast today. I'll say,
Which
Smoothie
one?
Makers with Edgar Wright. It was like two and
Sorry,
a half
what was
hours.
that one?
It's called Smoothie Makers.
Okay, I haven't heard any of the Smoothie Makers ones at
There's
all.
only two, but the one is him talking with Edgar Wright for like 2.5 hours, and it's pretty entertaining. Um, I,
That guy
anyway,
can make a podcast, man. He talks a lot.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think how we can bring this back to our own podcast. Hey, we got a podcast too. Don't forget. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
That's all I really have. So, yeah. What what was there anything coming out this week? Oh yeah, you wanted to mention that Justin Bieber has a film coming out.
I thought we shot that down because I kind of don't want to
It's
mention
kind of
it.
important to just kind of document that in history. The week of February 10th, that happened,
It's
and
B-Day.
wow, yeah, and nothing else was quite the same afterwards. Never Say Never, coming at you in 3D. So if you're into that, um,
I know
so,
you'll be there.
no,
Yeah, there's no way I'm probably ever going to see this.
yeah, I don't
Like,
even know quite what it is. Like, is it a documentary or like a concert film?
you know, I don't even know. I don't like Justin Bieber. I've heard one song, I think. I didn't hear the full song even. I can see why people might like him, but I don't know. I'm getting sick of all this stuff. Like,
I,
seriously, I'm getting sick of him everywhere.
to be fair, I've never given him like a proper shot. Like I've never sat down and just been like, all right, what's this album all about?
I
The
don't think I
notion of
could listen to a
child
full album
prodigy
like
kind of
that.
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
He is not a prodigy.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just saying he's really successful and he's quite a young kid or whatever.
Which
So
is fine, and I mean, I can see people maybe liking it. I mean, I like stuff people don't like, that's fine. I'm sick of going on Twitter and Bieber is the only thing trending all the time. I'm sick of seeing, like, him recommended to me on YouTube as, like, the biggest thing. Like,
yeah,
I'm just sick of Bieber. That's it.
Bieber fever, as it
Bieber
were.
fever. I haven't caught it.
I know. My sister has though. I will say so.
Oh,
Hits
that's
kind of close to home.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right. Like we've kind of like my iPod in my car kind of rules, so I haven't had to go through much of that.
Oh,
But
that's cool. The only
yeah.
cure is cynicism, so.
I guess so. I'll just try to avoid it. That's all we really got for this week. Again, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we kind of lost a lot of momentum.
Well, we
At
started
the
talking
end.
about Justin Bieber, but news always kind of, unless it's something really important. Like I should probably end the film with the Godard rant next time, like end the podcast rather.
I guess.
We should save things we're really upset about.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just joking.
I don't know. We should throw around some more ideas. There should be a way we sign off the show.
All right. I can't think of anything for now. So again, like thanks and see you next week.